Following the success of the Gaetz rebellion against Kevin McCarthy, Republicans have made good on their promise to spill the tea. Lots of juicy tidbits have come out about Matt Gaetz, and some of the things that Republicans have heard him talking about. Some of the stuff that has been reported earlier. Now, it involves his personal life. They are rumors, but nonetheless, they're fun. So let's discuss. First off, we have a little bit of what could be classified as
sexual anarchy.
It's a favorite kind of anarchy. So this comes from Senator Markwayne Mullin, who spoke to congressional reporter Manu Raju. He said that the allegation that Gaetz had sex with a 17-year-old girl became known in early 2021. The media, he said, didn't give him the time of day. The allegation, which Gaetz has denied, spurred an investigation by the Department of Justice, which in February opted not to file charges. A House Ethics Committee investigation into that matter, as well as illicit drug use and bribery, among other things, is ongoing. So, and by the way, that was one of the Republicans' threats. It's like, hey, if that ethics investigation turns up something, then we are going to drum you out. Like, you will be done in our caucus. You're gone. You're gone. Now, we haven't had a decision yet, and so Republicans have also said, look, we can't just kick the guy out because we don't like him, because we all hate this guy. We got to have a good reason. Okay, well, might be a good reason if he did any of this stuff. Now, that said, Mullin continued by saying, and there's a reason why no one in Congress came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor, that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He would brag about how he would crush ED medication, that's erectile dysfunction medication, that's boner pills, and chase it with energy drinks so he could go all night. Ugh.
Sexual anarchy.
I'm pretty sure a lot of you did not want to hear that. But let's be honest. I mean, I'm sure Gaetz considered this.
This election is about the people.
It's about the people. It's about the people. As he snorts the blue pill to see Alice. Okay. Now, Mullin was nice enough to note, quote, this was obviously before he got married. Well, I mean, classy, right? Hey, look, I'm gonna try to protect your marriage, but this is what he would do. Interesting. So there might be some truth to this, at least part of this. CNN separately reported back in April of 2021 that Gaetz had showed his fellow lawmakers images of women he purportedly had slept with. These were NSFW, okay, images, and he had bragged about his exploits. Interesting. Once again.
I got a new strap-on harness today.
No, I don't know if that's one of them. Okay. You know what? I would love to hear Mr. Kennedy go through and read out the allegations against Matt Gaetz. That would be hilarious. Okay, but there's more. So, of course, the conversation and allegations immediately goes to sex because that's the most salacious thing, obviously. Look what happened to Madison Cawthorn, right? Madison Cawthorn, I think, correctly stated the reality of Congress when he said that Republicans, yes, Republicans, were throwing drug-fueled sex parties. Yeah, I wonder if Matt Gaetz had been involved in any of them. That would be some interesting tea. But I'm sure Republicans in Congress are not going to spill that. There's more. So it's not just, okay. We're going to get to other allegations other than sex, but I have one more video here. This is Mark Short, who served as chief of staff to former Vice President Mike Pence. So in criticizing Gaetz, he mainly focused on how he's not a fiscal conservative, but this ended up getting slipped in when he was talking to Jake Tapper.
I think that what's concerning is we really are $33 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
We do have a border crisis.
100%.
There's a lot of issues that need to be solved.
Yes.
But the people who were masquerading as fiscal conservatives really aren't, Jake. I mean, Matt Gaetz, to say he came here as a fiscal crusader, it's more likely he came here for the teenage interns on Capitol Hill, to be honest. Look, he's voted for continuing resolutions. He's voted for omnibus bills. He voted for trillions of dollars in COVID spending. Even this year, he put forward an earmark. And yet he's presented himself as, I'm doing this for the fiscal benefit of the country. That's not honest. The guy just had a distaste for Kevin and used the rules to dethrone him.
Catch that? Hey, it's more likely you came here for the teenage interns than to be a fiscal crusader. Ooh. But look, all of that is fun, but I think the most damaging hit against Matt Gaetz, it doesn't have anything to do with his sex life. It actually has a lot to do with the fact that he is a hypocrite, that he's lying about taking on the establishment, the swamp, the billionaires. In fact, there's a leaked video where Gaetz was basically caught doing a fundraiser, trying to raise money from ultra wealthy conservative donors. Now, this is according to an article in the Daily Beast, which had an invite to an event which took place via video conference on September 26th, which featured Gaetz and fellow Freedom Caucus member Representative Matt Rosendale. So that was meant to entice big money conservative donors to give to him and his friends. And of course, it also showed the things that Matt Gaetz says he doesn't like about Washington, using big money to cajole people to change their positions. In fact, the following day, Gaetz and Rosendale created a joint fundraising committee called Rosendale Gaetz 2024, according to an FAC filing. Daily Beast obtained a full video recording of the fundraiser, hosted by Steve Bannon and orchestrated by the January 6th fundraising bundler Caroline Wren. Caroline Wren, at one point, told donors about a recent conversation where she instructed a wealthy GOP patron to use a screenshot of a maximum campaign contribution to pressure a reluctant Gaetz ally. Wait a minute. So send them a picture of money of a contribution and say, well, you're going to be missing out on this cash. Congressman Gaetz and I have been talking each night, and one night he called and said, I'm a little worried that this person's wavering. And I looked at their donor list, noticed a donor I knew had not given to her before. This was an unnamed woman, female congressman or congresswoman. And Wren said that when she called the donor to solicit a contribution to that unnamed congresswoman, the donor replied, yeah, I can't stand her. She then asked, would you write a maximum donation to her, take a screenshot and text it to her, and say, I'm only doing this because you're bravely standing up against the CR, continuing resolution that, of course, Matt Gaetz was against. The congresswoman then claimed, Wren claimed, ended up siding with Gaetz. And her, of course, summary of the story, or I should say the meaning behind it, was for her to make the argument to please use your money and recognize it as a tool to go back to these people and say, hey, I did this for a reason, and if you don't continue holding the line, then I will cut off my funding, Wren told the group of donors, which included bankers, a former Trump ambassador, who gave to, of course, many different GOP campaigns. That's why they became the ambassador, a hotelier, and others. So, hey, wait a minute. Doesn't that sound like the kind of swampy bullcrap Gaetz publicly rails against? Not weird. I mean, again, using the threat of cutting off donations, big, wealthy conservative donors saying, if you don't do this for me, I'm going to not give to your campaign. Again, super swampy, right? And that's the most disastrous revelation here. The sex stuff doesn't matter. It's fun. But this is what really matters, because this shows how Congress actually works. Look, Gaetz would constantly attack other Republicans for essentially bending the knee to lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership. That's part of a quote. Okay? But it turns out, oh, look, we have lobbyists and special interests that own Matt Gaetz. That's right. Matt Gaetz and friends. So it shows that, once again, all of these so-called populist Republicans are just tools for the rich. That, my friends, is the real scandal here. That's the tea that Republicans should be spilling on Matt Gaetz. But of course, if they do that, well, then they'd have to be telling on themselves because they all do the same thing. They're all on the take.